Okay, welcome everybody to day 17. So as always, let us quickly take a look at what is it we'll be doing for today. Today we'll look at how to install and use what I'll call third-party libraries. And so I'm sorry if my sound was off. I forgot to turn on the volume of my microphone. And so let me start again by welcoming you to day 17. And today we will take a look at third-party libraries. So we have been using libraries like the CSV. I think we've used OS before and other ones, but today we look at how to use ones that do not come with Python, because Python has a community, a very big community. People have written code that do so many things, so we can tap into their functionalities instead of inventing the wheel from scratch. Sorry about that. And so let me come into PyCharm, and then let's see how that one will go. Today we'll be taking a look at a very popular library for data analysis called Pandas. That's the name, Pandas. That's what we'll be taking a look at. We are not going to go deep. The whole point here is to know how to install a particular library if you have to do that, and then how to call it and some basic functionalities that come with stuff like that. Okay, so that is what we'll be doing today. Okay, so there is a website. Now it's time for the browser to come, called PyPI. So if you zoom in now, let me see. Maybe here. And then you maybe search for PyPI. Let's hit enter and see. Among the ones that will pop up, you should see the Python package index, which is pypi.org. So if I click on this, it should take me to pypi.org, where we can see all the Python packages that have been published by people, like open source ones. And so you see here that the website says find, install, and publish Python packages with a Python package index. Okay. And so that is exactly what we want to do. Well, if you like, how do you even know which package or which library to install? You can do a search on that one. So you do a quick search on maybe Python package to do this or that, and then that should lead you to some package, maybe ranked by popularity or reviews, anything like that, and then you can come and search it here on PyPI. So I said we are searching for Pandas today. So I just typed in Pandas and I hit enter. And I get a lot of them here. Pandas 2, Pandas 3.01 and all. But because I know exactly which one I'm looking for, I don't think it's any of these. Let me change the sorting and see. Okay, that is not what I'm looking for. I don't think it's any of them. Well, I'm a bit surprised, if I must say, that it's not really ranked here. So what I'll do is, inside a new tab, or I can use the old one itself. And instead of PyPI, I'll search for the package also. Most of the packages have websites, so you can visit it and see how to install and use it. In any case, I would have redirected us from PyPI to the packages website. So that is all. And you see that this is Bing trying to do its thing. But if you look at it, you see the website to the Pandas library. It says Python data analysis library. So maybe that's the full explanation or meaning for Pandas or something like that. Python data analysis. I don't know. My baby is so. And so it looks like my internet is a bit slow. I just hope the stream is smooth. If it is breaking, please let me know so that I can refresh my internet. And so when you come to the Pandas website, you see it's like this. Let me change the banner to Pandas installation. That is what we are doing. And so usually, not all of the websites look like this. It's different for each of them. But in any case, you should see some things like getting started and all that. So that is exactly where we want to go. So getting started, and then we can click on getting started because that is exactly what we are doing. We are getting started the package. Okay. It's switched to dark for you to see it. Well, let me switch it back to light. And so this is our getting started page. And usually it will start with how to install it. We are not working with Conda. Anaconda is a package, or you see here is Anaconda distribution. It's like, should I say, like a platform on its own that we can use to if you want to really enter into this data analysis, machine learning, and computer vision stuff. Anaconda is should I say, a platform, a library, or even an environment. That would be the best option here. It gives you all those packages and libraries, or whatever they are, that are used for data analysis. It comes with some editors, some interactive notebooks that you can run your code and see all the visualizations that come with it. It's very, very good for those data analysis stuff. So if you want to expand it further to data analysis, I recommend that you use Anaconda or Miniconda. You can also install the packages manually and then use virtual environments of your own, but usually some of those packages are difficult to maintain like on your own. But if you use the Conda, because they are providing you all those services, it becomes easier to use. So what we want to do now is to prefer pip. Pip is, you see the PyPI is shown here again. So you can install Pandas from PyPI. Let me click on it and see if it will take us to the PyPI page for Pandas. Okay, so it took us to the PyPI page for Pandas. And so that was what we were looking for that we did not find. Okay, this is not where I want us to be because there's very little that we can do here. The actual thing is in the documentation. This part where I have taken you to this place, the Pandas page, usually contains what we call the documentation. So what we are going through now is the documentation, which is just a set of useful information that tells you how to use the particular package or library. So we prefer pip. When I zoom in now, you see that where it says pip install pandas. This is the command line command that we use at our terminal to install packages. Okay, so I can click on this small icon here that says copy to copy it. Now I've copied it to clipboard. Let me come back to Python. For all this while, we have been running our code and we are only familiar with the run terminal. If I run this 17 now, see another one will pop up here. It was not here initially. So usually this is where we come. But there is another place that we have not yet explored. If you check just a few steps down, you see what we call the terminal. So you can click on it. For those using, if you are using VS Code, the terminal, you can go to view at the top and then there should be terminal and that will open the terminal for you. So I can press the command here, Control or Command V, and then it should, when I press enter, it should install it for me. But if I'm following this tutorial and you are using Pandas, if you press enter, you get an error, most definitely, because there's a particular settings that you have not configured. I don't even know whether I've configured it on my Windows after I installed it. So you let me press enter and see. usually a function of the internet, which is a bit slow now. Okay, I did the configuration. So see that it says it's downloading and some other stuff. So it's bringing in this particular library to us. Okay, so if you got an error, then it means you have not really enabled the what we call the Windows execution policy. This is very slow. You have not enabled the Windows execution policy. And so there's another way, in fact, a very easy way to manage packages in PyCharm. And you can come to the bottom right. Maybe you see something like VENV or something like that, but you should see something like this that tells you your Python version first. And then it also, if you have given it a name, then fine, it will. But you may not have given it a name. So you may see something like VENV. Any other thing you see in brackets, that shouldn't be a problem. Just click on this one. And among the options that will come, you will see that there is interpreter settings. There's also manage packages, but I've not really explored that part. So we can do the same thing at interpreter settings. So you just click on interpreter settings. And that should also open up another window for us. Here you see that there is our Python interpreter. You know from earlier lectures that the interpreter is a Python executable that is running our code for us. And so you see here package, version, and then latest version. So this is where we see all the list of installed packages. The Pandas is still installing. That is why you have not seen it here yet. So all the list of installed packages will be here. And then if you want to add another one, you see that when I hover over this plus icon here, it tells me install. So I can do exactly what I'm doing in the terminal here. The creators of Python just want to make things easier for beginners like us. So if I also come here like that in this window, I think I should refresh because I should see something showing here. Wow. Forgive me for all these things. My internet has not really been stable today. I was doing some downloads today and then they were taking so long, very, very long than usual. So if for your case, it will not be so. Once this loads, you see a list of packages here. And so since we are looking for pandas, we can just go and say pandas. And then if my internet was really working correctly, you should see that among the lists that pop up, you see pandas there. I don't know. Let me close it and then start it again and see. Pandas. Okay. Maybe it's not the internet. I've not actually been using this site a lot. I don't know what the problem is. But when you search for a package by its name, like pandas, it will filter the list for you. So you see the library that is here. And so you can click on it from this side. And when you scroll down a bit, this button that says install package that is grayed out on mine will be active for you to click on it. Once you click on it, all you have to do is to sit down, relax, and let PyCharm do the installation for you. So it will do all the heavy lifting by you calling pip and all that for us. I think this is taking so long than usual. I mean, giving us an estimated time of 4 minutes, come on. I'm sorry, but let me refresh my internet and then get back. The stream may pause, but I'll get back to you soon. I don't like this speed. Okay, thank you for your patience. I've refreshed it. I'm hoping that it will to do it right this time around. So pip install pandas. Let me repeat the command, and then let me inspect my package explorer. Here. See them. Pandas. Now that my internet is working like I expected, you see that when I type pandas, I have a whole list of pandases here. But because we know the one that we are looking for, I think because one of them should be highlighted, and because of my color theme, that should be blue. I can see from the right side here that the description says that it's pandas pydata.org. I think that is the correct website, but I'm looking for the highlighted pandas here. Let me do the search again. Pandas. Okay, so now you see that pandas is here. When I click on it, you can verify the authenticity of the library by first visiting their website and then knowing that you are installing the correct one. Because this PyPI that we explored, they actually allow you, it will allow you to publish a test library that you are just using for testing. And they will allow you to do that. So most of these names that you see in here, if I should scroll up a bit, I think I should see any of those names. Let me go to, okay, so in the case where I want to install the package, I can just click install package. And now you see that it's available for me. But I'll not do that. I think it will cause a conflict. It's already installing via the terminal. But if I clear this name, that all the packages now will show. Starting from A. If I scroll through now the list, you'll be seeing some very weird names. Let me try and do that. I don't even know what is from. You see this particular one, the very first one. I don't really know, but I think someone was just testing this thing, maybe. You see that the author, everything is unknown, unknown, unknown. So somebody was just probably testing whether they can publish something to PyPI. Sees this 0 also. I don't even know what it does, but it has an author email there. And all this one. So people are allowed to, or you are allowed to actually publish a test package there. So make sure you verify the authenticity of the package from this right side before installing. Other than that, you may put some malware on your PC. So because I'm already installing it down here, which is also taking so much time. Okay, so I'll close out of it and allow this to install. But let's go back to their website and see how we can navigate any documentation successfully. So this was the getting started. We are now done with the installation. Usually when you finish like that, there should be some place where you see some form of tutorials. And for this page, it was not difficult to notice it. You see tutorials here. There's also a version like Introduction to Pandas, so I think that will also help us. When I go to that section, you see that the Intro to Pandas section, there are some frequently answered questions there. So what kind of data does Pandas handle? And then we see here that they will try their best to explain things for you with plain English. And wherever they have to use code to, they will do that. So it says that if you are that type that works with tabular data, such as data stored in spreadsheets, data or databases, Pandas is the right tool for you. So you know that that's why I said that it's for data analysis in the beginning. There are several packages for several purposes, but what we are exploring today is for data. So it tells you that in Pandas, a data table like the one you open in software that is able to handle tabular data like Google Sheets is called a data frame. So look at it like your software that has opened the data for you where you see rows and columns. So they've even given a pictorial representation here that says that in that data frame, you can also define it as rows and columns, just like you are used to in your daily usage of softwares that handle tabular data. So they have even made it so that they have a tutorial for each of them. So you can click on, after you read the explanation, you can click on the tutorial here, the introduction tutorial here. Or they even provided a shortcut app here where you can easily now move straight to the tutorial. So let's go to the introduction tutorial for this particular one and see. Forgive me so much for my internet today. I really apologize for that. So I want to start using Pandas. So this is the intro tutorial, the first tutorial that they suggested for us. And they say that if you want to start using Pandas, you have to import it. So we know that from all the previous sessions that we've handled, other libraries, that you have to import it before. So here they try to use the import alias, which is import Pandas as PD. I explained that one yesterday, so that should not be confusing. You can import it as anything, but usually that is how you see developers all around the world doing it. So I can say import Pandas as PD. I should get an error now because my Pandas has not finished installing yet. Usually some of these packages depend on other packages. This package that is currently installing called NumPy, that is not Pandas, because we know that it has actually finished with the Pandas, which was downloaded here. Now it's downloading what we call NumPy. Pandas depends on the NumPy to work. So that's that kind of interdependency with packages. So they say we should import Pandas as PD. We have seen this picture before. And then here they give us an example. So this is what they call the data frame. Remember, they told us that whatever the data it handles is converted into a data frame. So here they give us an example of the data frame structure. Don't let it confuse you. Like maybe if this structure here confuses you, this is how it will appear, like so that it's more familiar with you, like how you see tabular data. So what we can do now here is to copy this, their example. So I'll copy the dictionary here. That's one of the ways we can create a data frame. We can also actually read it from an Excel file or from a CSV file. Like you see here, this is the tabular representation, and this is how it is read into the data frame. So if you have something like a dictionary like this, it will, when you view it in like this one is viewed in LibreOffice, this is how it will appear. So let me go ahead and then create that data frame also. It's still not done installing. Okay, it's now installing all of the packages. So this should go away very soon. So usually they call it DF, which is a short for data frame. So you can say PD dot then data frame. And then we pass in our dictionary. Heading called name, which will have side. There will be a column heading called age, which will have all these three numbers inside. So row by row, like we saw it in here. So you see the name column has all the three, and the age has all the three, and the sex too. And so that is how it is represented. Okay. You can give it all the time in the world. So I have some data here I prepared in advance, which is a CSV data. So let me bring that one in. Now maybe say print if. Let's see what we get at the terminal. Oh, that doesn't have, oh, I misspelled it. Let me see. Dot data frame, or it's a capital F. I think so. So let me run it again. Okay, so this is it. Now we are interacting or using a third-party library that did not come with Python. Other people, the Pandas team wrote it, and now we are getting to use it and all the functionalities in it for free. So this is it, how we can get with the data frame, but in most cases, you'll not be using this DF here. So what I'll do is I'll let us read the CSV file and perform some operations. So the whole idea of this tutorial is to let you know how to also navigate the documentation also. So let's see if there's a way they will tell us how to import the CSV. I know it, but I just want to kind of take you through the documentation. Well, I think we can get back, and then how do I read and write tabular data? So here you see all the file systems that Pandas support, CSV, XLS, and the rest that I don't even know. So it supports all of them. And it says that if you want to read any CSV file, like the open method or function in Python, all you have to say is pd.read_csv, and then we pass in the path to the CSV. So let's come to Python quickly and implement that. So we'll still maintain our df to say pd.read_csv, and then because it is located inside the same directory, you can just put the relative path, the data.csv. Okay, /, as I always recommend. So if I now run a file again, it should print out the data frame for all of them, usually to try to cut it short if the columns are so much. Okay, so what are some of the things that we can do with this data frame in Pandas? Let's say we want to compute the mean score of all the mean mathematics score. So that means we have to get all the data in the math score column, and this is how we can do it. So we can say maybe math score equal to, then I can say df. Remember the first data frame, the one that we brought into Python, was a dictionary. So that is how the data frame is. Once you do read CSV, it's imported into a data frame. And the keys to those data frames are the column headers. So I can use this column header to get all the data in this column. If I go back a few steps, you actually see that. Let me go back a few steps here. You will see that the things that are in the values, there's a key which is the column header, and the values are all the items in all the rows in that particular column. So when I use the name of the column to fetch from the data frame, I'll get all the list of all the rows that fall under that particular column. So that is what I'm trying to do now. Okay, so math equal to df, and I can pass in just like I'm querying any other dictionary. The name, the title, I think is math score. Maybe. Let me cross check. Other than that, I'll get. Okay, so it's the same. And so now if I print math score, you see that it gives it to me. But you see that there's also there are some numbers here too that are not part of the math scores. If I go, you see that it starts from 85 here. Yes. So this is kind of the index. So you see that it's trying to index them for us, and with some other data that is here. So it's integer 64 and all that. That's the data type, and the name of the column is math score. I think there is a way to get around this index if you don't want to show. Can we pass in it here? Index score. No. But if you are performing analysis, there's a way to get rid of that. And so if, let's say we want to perform, you say we are calculating the mean mathematics score. So we can call the mean on the math score like this. I think that, sorry about that. We can call the mean on it, and then it will give it to us. And that is, if you're wondering how I know all of these things, that is because I have gone through their documentation. I've used it for some projects. So if I'm going for a data analysis project, I do that often. I think this year I've not been doing it that much, but I do that often. I analyze and visualize data, both should I say regular data and then geospatial data too. So I know most of these commands offhand. So I actually read through the documentation, found out how to do that and all that. So I can also find the, I think there is the median. median also there. So let me run this one also. And then it gives us also that. So if we're working with any like tabular data, this particular package is the go-to package for you. So I don't want us to go so deep. This is not a Pandas tutorial. It's just to show you how to import and use third-party libraries. So we'll consider another third-party library for data visualization, which is called Matplotlib. So once again, we come to our search here, and the name is Matplotlib. If you are wondering how I got to use it, that is because at one time I was looking for what to do or Python package to do data visualization, and that was what popped up. So I can type Matplotlib. So you see here that it's a Python plotting library. So you can click on that. Sorry about that. And then the first link that comes, it takes me to their website. Let me close this one and this one. Okay, so you see that this one looks different from the Pandas homepage. But as I said, in any case, we are looking for something like get started. And that is where we have to be. You see that this place, they actually even link you to the documentation straight. I don't think we found out on the Pandas page. So because we are getting started with it, we will also click get started here. And then it takes us to the getting started page. You see that one too tells us that you can install with Conda because it's also part of the Anaconda distribution. But once again, we will use PIP to do that. And so I said it's for visualization. If you want to draw graphs, that is what you use. So let me come back to PyCharm and let me, no, I will not use the terminal this time around. I'll use the interpreter settings page. So you see that the Pandas is now here. So I can click on plus. And then inside this place, I will search for Mat. Why does this always delay a response slowly like that? Matplotlib. And so to confirm, I'll click on it, make sure that the description loads, and then I know that it points to the actual page, which is matplotlib.org. If we come back to our browser, you see that the name is matplotlib.org, with the exception of these ones that follow, which is just the particular place or page we have accessed on their website. But we know that the path to the official Matplotlib documentation on the website is matplotlib.org. So this particular package that we have selected here on the left is the correct one that we have to install, which will not install any malware on our PCs. So you see here that when I click the install package, there is this blue indicator telling us that it's installing. Well, we don't know when it will finish, so let's come back to the documentation and then see they even tell us to draw our first plot. So here is a minimal example. And then this is using the NumPy that was installed when we installed Pandas. But don't worry, I will not use this syntax because we have not explored NumPy. But if you are going to do this data science stuff, you may really want to explore it. Or you will, you have to. So I will write another way to plot this, which may not look exactly like this. But if we copy this code, paste it in, it will work. And that is all because I have explored the library and I know different ways to do the plotting also. It even recommends you where to go next after this particular tutorial. So let's get back to PyCharm. It's still installing it. I don't know whether canceling it will, closing the page will actually cause a problem. They don't give you any window to know where the progress so far. So please bear with me today. This should all be part of it. I do not really intend that things will be this slow. So please bear with me. Let me change the banner from Pandas to Okay. Wow. Okay, so if you're watching this stream later on YouTube, maybe you want to just be clicking the forward so that when it's done installing, you follow along. You don't just sit down doing nothing. The fastest way would have been to install all these things in advance, but that would not have been very good because you not also know how to do them. At least if I do it with you, that is best than me telling that when you come here, click here and click here and click here and all that. So, okay, we can utilize the time by still exploring the documentation. So our getting started is here. Now it tells us where to go next so that we can explore plot types. So let's click on the plot types. And so when we come to plot types in the documentation, you see that it has an overview of all the plots that they support. And you see here that you have the normal plot, the scatter, the bar. When I hover over it, it's trying to give me another information. But these are all the plots you can create with Python using Matplotlib. In fact, when you scroll down, you see a lot of them. Even 3D plots, you can do that with Matplotlib. So let's just say that we want to plot a 3D. And so let's click on this one, this first one. And you see that it takes me to another page that has documentation on how to create this 3D plots. Maybe after everything, we come and copy this code and then paste it in our terminal also. Again, it is making use of numpy random.seed, which is just to, I think it's just to get some random numbers, something like that. So let me come back. And this thing is still installing. Wow. Because of some dependencies, I'm afraid that if I close this one, it might terminate it and I'll have to reinstall again, which will take almost the same time. So please bear with me. Our package is done installing. And then if I should zoom in down here, you see that package Matplotlib installed successfully. If there was an error, it will tell you, usually with some link to view the log. But you can see here that it looks like Python, the Matplotlib brought a lot of packages. Maybe that's why it even took long. So you can click OK here. And this was it for Pandas. Or maybe we can even plot read data from here and then plot it. But before then, let me show you the basic plot example. After that, we read data from our students file and plot it so that we see how we can even link two libraries for a collective purpose. So if I want to do the plotting in Matplotlib, I'll have to say from Matplotlib, import pyplot as maybe PLT. This is a syntax. It can be written in many ways. I can actually say import matplotlib dot pyplot as PLT. This one too also works. So it's the same as from matplotlib import pyplot as PLT. You know that when we use the dot, then it means we are calling something that is inside something. So for instance, for the dictionary, when we use dots, then we are calling the keys or something like that. So this one will also work. If I have a list of two lists, maybe I'll call one X. PyCharm suggests fantastic, a range of numbers for me. And then Y, no, I don't want Y to be the same. I don't want Y to be the same. Maybe let me start that one from 11. Let me see if okay, it got that one also. But this should be the same length. Are they the same length? I think so. And so if I want to plot this to, let's say this is the data I have, I want to plot. I can say PLT which is the PyPlot manager that I've called a dot. And then I can just say plot. How do I again know that I have to call plot? Because I've been using it and I've been reading the documentation, which I recommend that you also do. So this function here, if we put the cursor on it for the documentation, you see that it takes in args, star args, which I know you know what it is, and other stuff. So there's also the data and all. But these star args, you know that if we have star args, then we can pass in named arguments. And so one of the first named argument is the x that I want to plot, which is now my x up there. Don't be confused with the two x's. One is a named argument here, and one is this list here. And then the y is y. Again, I will not do any customization. So if I want to show the plot, I have to say plt.show. So once I have it this way, I can right click, run it, and then something else will pop up. Okay, it says plot got unexpected argument. X. Okay. That is good. We will fix that error, but look at something here. Usually the errors that we have been seeing from previous sessions is just one line. But when you start using third-party libraries, these are some of the errors you will encounter. You see the first one that links to your own file. That tells me that the error is at line 17. That is great. And then here, it takes me to some place saying a lot of things. So in any case, when you see errors like this, the first thing that you have to do is not to be scared away by the first messages that you see here. It can actually be very long. In fact, if this package is also importing that functionality from another package and the error also occurs in that package, that means it will be a nested chain of errors. So the first thing you do when you get any errors is to scroll down. I think I said this one when we had the error lectures. So scroll down. The last line, in most cases, is the most important line you are looking for, especially for us who are now beginning. So I see that there's a type error. That plot got an unexpected keyword argument. Okay. So now let me just say that I'm taking this y from there. So that unexpected keyword argument is the y that I placed there maybe. So it's now also saying that it's got an unexpected keyword argument. So it doesn't really give me so much information because I don't even know the argument that I have to put here. That is where also the documentation will come in. So as a developer, you have to know how to read the documentation. Now, okay, let me try and see if I pass in data, if the thing would work. And see. Data equal to, then let me say x. Initially, I wanted to plot x and y. It was telling me that there was a parameter argument error. I removed the y. It is still telling me that there is the same error. Now let me plot data and see. Okay. You may not have it here. It may pop up on your taskbar and you have to click and show it. But I think this is one of the functionalities of the PyCharm professional edition. Is there any way I can pop this thing out? I have not used this for plotting before. There's another tool I use for that. The same Python code, but I write it in another environment. So now I think at least I can see some plotting window, but it doesn't really make sense because I don't have anything plotted in here. So we have to now resort to the documentation. Remember the first one that we got to and see how they did their plotting. Okay, I think it was from here we moved also to. Okay, so it was here. They said they first declared a figure. Okay, and then as.plot. Sorry. A figure and then as.plot. This one you see here is a figure, which is think of the figure like the whole thing that we see, like the canvas, this white thing that you see, all of it. And then this AX is usually for axis, and also plt.subplot. This example is a little advanced. That's why I didn't want to do that. Okay, if the plot will not work, let me try another one which I know would work. So plt, there's also one called scatter. And then let's see what the scatter also takes. So this scatter takes in X, Y, S, and all those ones. So now this is also another documentation on its own, the one that pops up that gives us information. It's called the functions documentation. So when you put your cursor on it, any intelligent editor should tell you the things that the function takes. So X, Y, and S, and all of those things. So now let me pass in X and Y because I know I can plug in the two. So X, Y, and then plt.show. We have here another error. Says X and Y must be the same size. So I really wish I can see this way. These errors are intentional. They are not intentional, but I'm happy they are occurring so that when you are also using third-party libraries, you know how to fix your errors. Again, I said that when you get things like that, scroll down to the last line. That is the most important. So now there's a value error. X and Y must be the same size. What does it mean that they are not the same size? Well, it means that maybe one is has more members than the other. So this one has 1 to 10, and this one has 11 to 18. So immediately you know that this is 8 in length, and then this is 10. So if I put my cursor on them here, on the variable, usually it used to give the number of elements in there. So I can put 19 and then 20 here so that they will all be the same length or the same size, more technically. Now when I run, I shouldn't see any error, but my plot at my right side there. So now I have my plot here, which is the scatter. It's just a linear plot like this. And so that is it. We have made a scatter plot in Matplotlib. So remember, I told you that we will also want to explore. So let's go to the plot types again. And I think this is a scatter that we plotted. And let's look at the plot XY. I think they always try to use the subplots. I think it's a little advanced than our. I want to avoid that one. I use it, but I use it when I'm making more than one plot. Usually, if when I want to put more than one plot on the same figure, you can do that, like 4 plots on the same figure. But if it's just a single plot, I don't think it's for me. I think it's just a little bit expensive to use the subplots. So let's explore also the 3D and see. So which one should we pick? Maybe this one here. So once we click on it like this, it will give us the code on how to do this. So you can type along, but to save time, I will just click on this copy icon and copy it. So if everything works successfully, you see exactly what we saw there. So I will clear all these imports and then paste in that code. Usually, you will not want to paste it in just like that because that is not the best way to learn. It's because of this demonstration that I'm doing that. I don't want to just waste your time typing exactly these things in the editor, but you will probably have to have another screen on another device that you are looking at the documentation on, and then type it so that you understand what happens line by line. And for what you have done so far, I don't expect you to be confused when you see things like this, because I know you know that this is NumPy. So it's calling it as an NP, and inside it, there is a method or function called arange that gives you a range of numbers. And so if you want to find out what this one is, you can put your cursor on it. You see that it gives us documentation here. So returns evenly spaced values within a given interval. So what it does is that it will take the start, stop, and then I think there is a middle one which determines the steps that you should go. So this is where you should start from, this is where you should end, and this is the steps that you should take. So if you are starting from say 0 and going by steps of 0.25, this is how it will be. Assuming it's from 0, and then we are going by steps of 0.25. So the first one will be, say, 0.00. The second one will be 0.25. The third one will be 0.50. That is 0.25 plus 0.25. The third one will be 0.75. So I believe you get the meaning of the step that is here. So in case I want it by steps of 1, I have to put 1 there. So I'll run this code again and see, and we should now see our 3D plot here. Hopefully we will not get any error. Okay, so we have our 3D plot. That is here. Exactly as we saw it there, so we have the same thing here. So the documentation is your go-to area. And if you have errors also with your code, there are other websites like Stack Overflow. Usually also if you have an error that you don't know how to fix, so let's just go back and let me intentionally create an error here so that I show you another way on how to fix those documentation errors. So I'll go back. I think one of the codes gave us an error. Maybe the one that says the length. Okay, this one will give us an error. So let's run it. If you think you don't know what this one is all about, you can also copy this, the error, so the last error, so the raise error, and then I can copy it, Control-C, come back to my browser, and then paste it in straight. You can just paste it in, and then hit enter. So when I search this, I'm using Microsoft Bing, but you can use any search engine of your choice. When I did the search, you see that it looks like my error is also somewhere on the internet. And this website I really recommend is stackoverflow.com. It's a platform where developers share knowledge. So a lot of questions, the people ask questions, people have answers. So you see that the first one that came is exactly like my error. So X and Y must have the same size. So I can click on this one, this link here, and it should take me to a page on Stack Overflow where that question has been answered. So you see here that this is what the person asked. The person says that this is his or her code, and he or she is trying to perform some analysis, which is this code is a bit advanced than our level now. But whatever he or she was trying to do is not our problem. It is the error that was returned. And then let's see the answers that people gave. So this is the question. Usually that's what you see first. And then you scroll down, you see answers. There are 3 answers. It says, let's see. Okay, this doesn't really. Okay, so this is not really like what we are looking for, but it looks like the question is not really like using different list of different length. But in most cases, when you post it there like that, you can find an answer. So there's another one also down here. Let's click that one and see. Okay, I think it leads us to the same link, same place. Okay, so if you look at the right side also here, there are also some set of linked questions to what was asked. And so the chances are like 99% that the problem that you encounter has been answered on websites like Stack Overflow. So just copy paste the error. The last 2 parts are the most important, like you saw me do this place. So this last line, which is the raise value error, is the most important one. So you can just copy that one, paste it in, and you get a solution. But in our case, the person was doing something which is a little complex than what we are doing now. And so the answer was not really beneficial. But I cannot waste time scrolling through all the web pages to find solution to this exact problem. But chances are that if you encounter any error, somebody has fixed it before. So that is it also about the Matplotlib. And I promise you, I've not forgotten at all that we use Matplotlib to get the data from our CSV here and plot the students' scores and see. Okay. So, okay, I'll get rid of these ones. And then I can now, okay, I need this import, I need pandas also. And you know that I can read my data frame. Or you can actually say scores to be more specific. Nobody restricts you to that. So scores equal to, and then I can say pd.read CSV. And then I pass in the path the CSV, which is dot/data.csv. Okay. And then I can now say that math scores. So math scores, that should be scores. And then you know that I can just index into it. I think the name was math scores, if I have not forgotten. Let me cross check. Okay, there's no S. So now I have this. And let me also see, maybe I want to plot the student's name on the x-axis. So I can say names equal to scores. And then what I want to do is to get name. Name. Okay. And then I can go plt.plot and then pass in math scores so that will go to the X column. And then I can plot in add the Y, which is the names should rather go in here rather. Sorry about that. So names and then math scores. I know that before it's visible, I have to do plt.show. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully no error. Okay, so the plot doesn't really look clean. I wish there's a way I can disable this thing, because the one that pops up here, I can actually interact with it. I don't know, this professional edition is giving me something, but I've not used it for that purpose before. That's why I'm finding it difficult to do so. But if you look down here, though clustered together, but you can see JOH, which should probably mean John. So if we check you see John Doe here. So that means that it took the students' score. So each student and then their score corresponds. So the next one here, this marker here, corresponds to the 90 which some students got and all that. So with that, we have used two different libraries or packages in Python to achieve a common goal of getting our students' details from a CSV and visualizing it. I don't know if there are any questions about how to install and use third-party libraries, but I don't think there should be. The only thing you have to know is that search on any search engine for maybe Python package to do this, Python package to do that, and then it will give you a list of packages. Once you visit the website, look at the documentation, the examples that have been given, and you see that, okay, this is what I'm looking for. You can go to the getting started, see how you can install it, and then go visit the documentation again, see how they've written the code to do that particular thing you are looking for. And then you can also implement the same thing with your data. So that, my friends, is how we explore third-party libraries. As always, I will give a minute if there is any concerns or questions I have to address on air. Other than that, we close chapter on today and anticipate for Monday. Okay, so I don't think there's any. So I want to thank you for your time. And then I'll see you on Monday. Don't forget to keep creating. I still want you to show me some of the crazy stuff you do or have done ever since you started learning Python. That will really make me glad. So until Monday, it's goodbye from my side.